Today we're ready to talk about Angry Revenge Death Horsey Shovelface.
Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
I don't know. What's good, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. We continue our Paldea Evolved deck profiles. This one here appears to be a very annoying yet popular, I think impactful meta threat. So this feels like a Duraludon or a Decidueye from Darkness Ablaze. It has very specific niches. If you're not prepared for it, it's going to kick your ass 6 ways from Sunday. Ting Lu is a 2-prize, 240 hit point EX Pokemon. 240 hit point, 2-prize Pokemon. Fighting type is a terrific type to have. It hits 3 different types in the game for weakness: lightning, normal, dark. It has an ability that makes this card very, very powerful if you're not expecting it or you're not respecting it. Earth and Curse, as long as this Pokemon's in the active, your opponent's Pokemon with damage counters on them, excluding EXs, have no ability. Curlia, Comfey, Genesect, Baxcalibur. There's a handful of them that I could continue to mention. If you don't actively respect Ting Lu, it will sneak up and get you.
Surprise, motherfucker!
What does it do damage-wise? So for 3 fighting energy, it does 150 damage, puts 2 damage on one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. We are actively setting things up. With this one, you are going to play a little slower, but you are also looking to shut off key combo pieces. Ting Lu is a very nice card. It is on my buy list. Cards that I think I need to pick up now before they peak in price. But with that said, we're going to jump back into the deck profile. I'm going to stop with my Ting Lu love affair and show you what else is in this 60 card deck. We are playing 2 copies of Koraidon EX. Koraidon gets better in this set, 230 hit points, so it's pretty bulky. Here for Dino Cry, once during your turn, you can attach up to 2 basic fighting energy from your discard pile, basic fighting Pokemon in any way you like. If you do, the turn ends. It hits 220 for 3, which is also nice. It's much more powerful than the 150. Different ranges of attacks, but mostly it's here for the ability. And another card that comes out in Paldea Evolved that makes this ability more live and more effective, Guacabilly EX. We are playing 2 of them. Show off. Once during your turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6. So it's a Dedenne GX. You could actually, on going second, you could pair this off with a Professor's Research and churn through 13 cards of the deck. I think that's very good. It's a 1 retreater, and for 1 energy, Psych Up does 20 and attach 2 basic energy to one of your bench Pokemon. In the rare instance we have to go second, we can Squawkabilly, Psych Up, or we can Dino Cry. We have a couple options to charge up a Ting Lu. That's our setup. That's how we're typically accelerating energy in this deck. We do, however, have a few support Pokemon, and I felt that give them their moment to shine. We're playing 2 copies of Hawlucha. This one came out in Scarlet and Violet base. I didn't expect to see this one in a lot of decks, but it's getting better. When you play it from your hand onto your bench, choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, put 1 damage counter on them. It's here for math fixing, but it's mostly here to make Earth and Curse live the first turn of the game. Your opponent decides to get overzealous and bench a bunch of things in their first turn of the game and then go path. Well, yeah, they might have gotten to use Comfey that first turn. We're gonna make sure that they can't use it the second turn. And of course, to play into that damage mod, we have Radiant Alakazam. So Painful Spoons lets us move damage counters up to 2 from one Pokemon to another Pokemon. We are going to try to make sure we are locking out their key Pokemon early and often. Whether it's Land Scoop and we put 2 on something and then move it next turn, or we're flying entry moving them. So maybe we'll put 2 on the bench and move 1 up to the active, so that Comfey that they're sitting on, they have to burn a switch cart just to be able to play the game. But then their benched Pokemon still can't use their ability. So there's value there early, and we don't have a clean way to beat Mew. We're not playing Drapion because it's 2-prize liability. Pitch Black Disaster. As long as this Pokemon is in play, basic Pokemon V, both yours and your opponents have no abilities. Would you look at that? There's no Pokemon V in this deck. Okay, cool. So we flip it over, we shut off your opponent's Lumineons, we shut off Drapions, we shut off Genesect. Spiritomb is just more defensive. We're slower paced. That's fine. That's the plan. We are playing 12 fighting energy. I put 12 in the deck because it's about 20% of the deck, and I feel like you want to be reliably hitting them for Squawkabilly and for other cards in the deck, okay? You can put 13, you can put 14, depending on where you want. I found that the deck was very tight on space after getting the energy in. If you want to cut a Hawlucha, add another fighting energy. 4 copies of Professor's Research. We do want to see cards in our discard pile early. We want to get to the key pieces and toss the bulk. Everything in our deck is pretty much playable on the start. The research will mostly be tossing extra. 3 copies of Iono. Each player shuffles their hand, puts it onto the bottom of their deck, and then draws a card for each prize they have remaining. This is more or less for the mid game. Your opponent is going to get ahead of you in prizes. If we play Judge, everybody's getting 4, always getting 4. But as we don't mind a slower game and building up to where we want to be, Iono could give us 6, give them 4, give us 6, give them 5. Iono had more value in testing than Judge, but I do understand Judge and why you might want to put it in there. We are playing 2 bosses orders because occasionally we will want to put something in the active that we want to hit. Whether they put something on the bench for weakness, or they put something that they don't want in the active spot and they can't get it off there, if it's a Luminion or a Drapion or whatever. We can boss it, take 2 free prizes, or soften it up for next turn. We also play 1 copy of Penny, so it puts one of your basic Pokemon and all cards attached to it back into your hand. Thought about a second one. We did consider a second one in playtesting. Hawlucha was again one of those flex spots to get the Penny in there. Mostly Penny is here for that first turn of the game. Leave something in the active, let it soak a hit. If it doesn't die, Penny can scoop it up, and it's almost like they didn't get an attack off. So then you can now initiate the first meaningful attack of the energy was bothering me. We are always messing with our layouts and figuring out what's what. And we are on to our stadium card. We're trying to keep things off and rolling. We are playing 2 Temple of Sinnoh. One is for Lugia, this one is for Fusion Mew. Both of those decks seem to be tier 1 or A+ picks. They're very, very good. It says all of their special energy only count as colorless and have no additional effects. So Lugia is going to try to single strike crush you with the Tyranitar and take out your Ting Lu. We can't really do much, but we can put the Temple of Sinnoh down and force them to bump it. Mew, if they have their fusion energy on, we can't hit them with Flying Entry. We can't shut them off with Earth and Curse or Pitch Black Disaster. It makes our ability lock useless. Fusion Mew will be the way, and we want to be able to stop their way. We play 2 copies of Lost City. If anybody tries to get cute and play a tech to shut us down, we want to be able to send that tech away and never have it come back. Do we mind losing any of our key combo pieces? Aside from Radiant Alakazam, we play enough copies of things that if we lose it early, oh well.
Sometimes shit happens, someone has to deal with it.
And then we have 3 tools in the deck. Am I having fun here? Yeah. So we'll go 2 Charms of Courage. So it gives our basic Pokemon an additional 50 hit points. Ting Lu is now a 290 monster. We are playing 1 EXP Share. EXP Share is in here because whenever your Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack, you can move 1 basic energy from that Pokemon to this one. So setting up the first Ting Lu will be tough. Setting up the second one could be a nightmare. We have attachment. If we have 3 in the active and we have 1 on the bench, trying to get 2 attachments without a Raihan and an attachment is going to be tough. I'm not sure what will be the most ideal way of getting your 3 attachments on, because we know Dino Cry can get us there. We know Squawk ability can get us there. Mostly we are just playing that. We will find out as time goes on. We are playing 4 copies of Ultra Ball. The item counts are pretty much consistent. Like, we're gonna try to max out counts because we'll be burning through our deck. Grab any Pokemon in the deck. It is here because it discards fighting energy, which plays into Dino Cry, which plays into Squawk ability. Playing 4 copies of Gutsy Pickaxe. So Gutsy Pickaxe lets us reveal the top card of our deck. If it's a fighting energy, attach it to one of our benched Pokemon. This is the main means of setting up a backup Ting Lu or setting up our first Ting Lu. We are going to play 3 copies of Nest Ball. So this is just backup in the rare instance that we don't get the Ultra Balls early. We do still want to not get donked. Slide everybody up there. Then we are playing 2 copies of Pokegear. Just lets us dig a little deeper for our supporter count. 2 copies of Switch Cart because it lets us heal our Pokemon. So switch to the bench, heal 30. Basics, the whole deck's basic. And we have 4 one-of item cards. 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball, because if we prize that Kazam, we're in trouble. 1 Super Rod, because sometimes we pitch too many energy or too many Pokemon early off of Research or Squawk ability, that's okay. 1 copy of Palpad, because we might want more bosses, Ionos, or Penny. And 1 copy of Escape Rope. So Escape Rope makes a switch Pokemon. They can't just put something in the active and waste our 150 Land Scoop. This is the 60 I'm rocking. Some quick suggestions I would mention. There's a stadium, Dynatree Hill. There's another stadium, Gapejaw Bog, I would consider. Temple of Sinnoh is more it's more defensive. So it's forcing the Lugia player to have outs, and with your Ionos constantly disrupting. We did talk about the second Penny. We did talk about the Judge. Shopping Center is another stadium worthwhile. This deck cannot afford to have its ability shut off, so you want to be playing 4, maybe 5 stadiums. Energy counts, if you want to bump them a little higher, cut your Super Rod and just say, you know what, I'm going to play with whatever I have. Raihan could be good. As you can tell, I think this deck is going to be very flexible, and you're going to lean into the 4 Ting Lu. We might even see less basics. If you want to get more active with the Mew matchup, slap the Drapion in over the Spiritomb and go take 3 prizes. Just go punch them right away, and you can figure out how you're going to get your last 3 prizes. If you don't like any of the cards, by all means, please change them. This is only a skeleton list. I'm open to suggestions. What would you include in your Ting Lu list? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, guys, take care.